boys and girls, we're back in the saddle again. We are dose episodes. We're going to do about 12 or 15 or 17 in a row. I don't know what the hell we're doing right now because STP, we just do whatever the heck we want. But look who we have on what the hell is today? 1, 2, 3, 4. Today's Thursday. We're almost at the weekend, baby. Look at who we have. This is Stir the Pot with Don Kincaid. And we're being taken over tonight, boys and girls, because this isn't Stir the Pot tonight. This is the Guy Show with the guy, Jack Dalton. Welcome to your show, my man. Welcome.
What an intro. We're with the Don and the Guy.
And
Welcome
the guy.
to the Guy Show. Welcome to the Guy Show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Mr. Dalton, I really wanted to change it up just a smidge for one, Mr. Dalton, because you show, and I'm just going to start right here because, again, I don't write anything down. We just go at the cuff and hope for the best and hope we survive said interview. But I want to start right there because you show professionalism, the way you look, the way you talk. When you do promos, you know how to present your, I guess we'll say character, if you will. You just carry yourself like a professional wrestler. And that is what grasped me. That you pulled me in, my friend, with those three things. And that's what I love. Look good, talk good, and just wrestle good. I mean, come on, you get those three together, you've got a great package. And Mr. Dalton, all of those things drew me in to you as a performer and an athlete. And thank you for doing the job correctly. But you are an early rising upcomer right now. And I appreciate for your professionalism right out the gate, my man.
Thank you. Thank you for the high praise. The way that I look at this business is, like you said, there's three things that you need. I feel like, there's three things you need. You need the look, you need to be able to talk, and you need to look, you got to look the part. You got to be able to wrestle. The way I look at it is you constantly can get better. You can always learn how to wrestle. You can always get better at wrestling. But the way you present yourself, perception is reality. And the reality is I am a star. And I act like that because that's who I am 24/7. That's really all there is to it. My favorite thing about pro wrestling as sports entertainment is the entertainment, the promos. What drew me to professional wrestling is the outlet it gives me to talk. I love to talk, and Don, closed mouths don't get fed, and I am trying to eat. I'm trying to eat good. That's it.
Again, your promos, and I'm going to stay right on this topic. The one for was it Blood, Sweat, Tears, right?
Yeah, there's one for
you
Blood,
did
Sweat,
it,
and Tears. Yeah.
And we were sharing away. I had no clue who the F Jack Dalton was. I've seen him on the old face page because that's where I kind of do my most residing. I'm not really a Twitter kind of not really confuses me, but I can kind of sift through Facebook a little bit easier. And plus, it doesn't give you limitations in the characters and such as Twitter and Instagram and some of those things do. But I started seeing some Jack Dalton stuff, and that promo was one of the very first things I ever seen of Jack Dalton. I immediately shared it. And I seen that you reacted to that, which was awesome. I love when the talent sees when others share. And I know that Facebook does not tell you every single person that shares it, which really pisses me off. Mm-hmm. And I seen all of that right off the ripper. The way you did the promo, when I shared your media, you reacted to it, which is I'm like, all right, I'm already sold on this guy, and I haven't even seen him wrestle. So me as a fan, I was already sold on one Jack Dalton without even seeing you get in the ring, just off of that promo alone. And I'm like, because again, this guy can talk and cut a good promo. And if he can do that, I can already imagine that he's got to be at least a halfway decent wrestler. But again, I don't even know how long you've been in the business at that point by seeing that promo. So let's kind of jump around in there. How long have you been in the business at this point? Because I just met Jack Dalton very recently.
So I'd like to think I've been in the business my whole life, just the way that I've always wanted to do this. But about 3 years ago, right before COVID, I started training locally. Was training for about 6 months. COVID hits, and the world went crazy. Everything shut down, and I was never sure if wrestling was ever going to come back. It was definitely a crazy time on TV for wrestling, but I really did pay close attention and kept my finger on the pulse of the independent wrestling circuit. I do have a few friends in that are doing pretty well on the independents, and were doing pretty well, really rising up before COVID happened. So during that time, I've always been thinking about a quote unquote character. This isn't really a character or a gimmick. This is me. I've heard plenty of people say your character, your gimmick has to be you turned up to 11. I'm always turned up to 11. So back to your point of how long I've been in the business, COVID happens, and throughout that time, I really just took it to improve my actual life outside of wrestling, improve my body, was really working out relentlessly. But there was a point during that time that I really was scared that wrestling was never going to come back. But I was constantly in the mirror every single day, cutting promos, promo after promo. When I'm driving around, that's constantly what I'm doing. I'm always thinking. They say that you have to be obsessed with this, and I am. It's a sickness. It's in my veins. It's in my blood. I constantly think about this. I'll be with friends or family, and I'm talking about wrestling, and they're like, all you do is talk about wrestling. And I have to explain to them, if you want to do this at the level that I want to do it, then you have to be obsessed with it. And so I don't know if you've noticed, I like to talk a lot, and I'll probably go off. I posted before that this is going to be an hour-long promo talking about why I'm the guy. Most likely that's what it's going to be. So,
and there's no set runtime, by the way. I mean, if the guy show wants to extend to an hour and a half, I've done up to 3 hours, and I'm not saying we have to do 3, but I'm just saying there's no specific runtime here on Stern to Pop.
I got time, Don. So I once things kind of slowed down, sorted out some personal stuff. People around me did get sick, and I wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. Once I knew that they were, I had a goal. So I kind of wanted to restart. I wanted to really make my name, and I felt the only way that I could restart was to look for a new wrestling school. So I did find a few. I moved down to Florida, and I trained with Sean Spears and Tyler Breeze at Flatbacks in Florida.
Okay.
And it was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life, professionally and personally. It was the hardest thing I've ever done physically and mentally. And I really feel like it prepared me for this business more than anywhere else could have. And that's not to say there's plenty of fantastic schools out there. There's plenty of fantastic teachers. But something about it, I always gravitated towards those two guys. Sean Spears is one of the best in-ring technicians, pro wrestlers in the world. Whether he gets that credit or not, he deserves it. And then Tyler Breeze, he's all about the character. He's all about being and presenting yourself like a star. So those are, I felt, were two guys that I always gravitated towards. And why not be taught by them how to do this? Because those are two guys that have made it in the current day professional wrestling world. That you have Spears, who's been at WWE and was very successful there, especially in the launch of NXT and that black and gold that everyone loves in his 100%. That you see that chant, you see that everywhere at every show, and it's never going to go away. It's just like the what chant or the yes. And that's who taught me. So then he gravitated over to AEW, and as well as Breeze being in WWE, they really taught me how to wrestle for TV, and to constantly be thinking about this 24/7, and how bad that it really being there really tested me and tested everyone there to see if you really want to do this and what it takes. And being there, plenty of people would drop by, and you really got to get knowledge from a lot of different talents that would drop by, because pretty much every pro wrestler that is quote unquote made it is living down in Orlando, Florida, where I was. But that was January. I was there for a few months, and then I came back up here, and I started on the scene. I had my first match in May of this year, so only a few months I've been doing it. But training wise, it's kind of been like a 3-year journey.
Wow. I'm going to use one word, and then I'm going to pick a couple things out of what you've just said. One word is impressive because of such a short tenure and the way you present yourself. As I just can't stress enough, boys and girls. Looks the part, talks the part, walks the part. His gear is professional. He interacts with the crowd. I've seen him do both good guy, bad guy. I've seen it in different situations. I don't like when they do that, but it is what it is. Sometimes the promoter asks you to do what you got to do. You step up for the job. I just don't care for that. I feel personally, if the guy is this, then the guy should be that. Don't change the guy, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
To your point, Don, at the end of the day, whether I'm quote unquote a good guy or bad guy, I'm just being me out there. And I don't really care either way. You want to boo me or power to you, you want to cheer me, that's great. At the end of the day, I'm looking for a reaction. I'm looking for people to leave that show and get their money's worth and feel like when they leave that show, there's a million people that can do wrestling moves or can do something to stand out. I truly feel when I walk into a room, that's all I have to do. No matter what door I walk through, forbidden or not, you pay attention. You look, your neck turns, you're rubbernecking, you see who's that guy, and you're right, it is that guy, but I'm the guy. That's who I am. So whether it's good, bad, indifferent, as long as you feel something towards me when I'm in a room and I feel like I take up that room, and it's not to take away from who my opponent is or who else is on the show. When I call myself the guy, I mean it. I feel it. I feel it every single day in outside the ring, inside the ring, in promos. I truly feel this word potential. I feel like my potential is endless. And people might say it's cockiness, or I call it confidence, because no one who ever made anything of themselves did it because they didn't believe in themselves. I believe in myself more than anyone, and I don't need anybody to believe in me, because I believe it in every fiber of my being that one day Stanford comes calling, Jacksonville comes calling, Nashville comes calling, I'm going to make that happen. And you have to think that way. You have to be someone. You have to be the guy, whether you believe it or not. You are the one person. Whoever's listening to this, if you want to be a professional wrestler, you have to believe it more than anybody. Because believe me, when I said I'm gonna quit my job, I'm going to move down to Florida to get trained when I have schools right near me, people thought I was nuts. Just that you want to be a pro wrestler in general, but you have to be crazy. You have to be nuts. And to be the guy, you can't just say that. You have to look, walk, talk, and act like a star. Hence why I invest in my gear. Hence why I do my best to be in the best shape possible. Which this isn't my final form. You will, in a year's time, you're gonna see. You think I look good now? Just wait. I live this inside the ring and outside the ring.
We'll have to have a return in a year's worth of time of one Jack Dalton. I think that would be great with Boys and Girls when we have returns. And I know we've said this every single interview. We'd love to have a return in X amount of months or whatever. And I don't always reach out, and sometimes the talent doesn't always reach out, and we never really connect. But I want a year's worth of time from now until then, and see where one Mr. Jack Dalton is, physique, his mindset, his move set, his gear, I'm sure will not be the same. Where he's wrestling, I'm sure will not be the same. I mean, there's going to be so many changes in the next 12 months for Jack Dalton, because it's not only me that says that kind of praises one Jack Dalton for the way he looks and whatnot. Some of the fans, they've already caught on to, Eric Hunting, uh, my love, Cindy Hart. And I know they both have told you, you look like a star. You're going to be TV ready very soon. Maybe not right this second, but you're more TV ready than a lot of the guys that we see out there. So, you're getting praise from people that see a lot of indie wrestling. And it's not, again, just us three. There's definitely more than that, but I'm using as examples. But I wanted to pull out something that you said earlier when you were talking your time frame in the business. You mentioned how COVID hit and you were unsure. My friend, and I almost interrupted you, but I did not want to do that. You are definitely not one of the only athletes in the professional business of wrestling that was unsure of what the hell was going to happen. I have talked, and that's when this really started. And just real quick before I get back to the topic, I used to do these face-to-face. I would drive to homes and getaways and maybe parks because they didn't want to give me their address. You can't blame them. For real. But that's what I would do. That's how I started starting the Guy Show. I'm sorry. That's how I started the Guy Show. But that's okay. I'll refer. And I would go to destinations. I've even driven like 2.5 hours. Being episode 25 with the former King Leon. I drove 2.5 hours and talked to him and his squire. What a fucking couple they were. But my point being is, when the world shut down and went to shit, I didn't know what to do, Mr. Dalton. How do I reach the talent? So obviously we have the World Wide Web. Let's get on the interwebs and figure out what platform I can use where I can have raw footage that I can save and put on a hard drive and be able to say that I have all of these interviews on hand and I can look them up anytime I absolutely want. And that's what I've done using Skype. That's why I specifically use Skype, is for that reason, because I can have that raw file,
Yep.
But so since episode 26 to now being episode 327 with the guy, Jack Dalton, that's how I was doing it. And that's where we're at. And I'm sorry, I feel crooked for some reason. That's where I'm at right now. And that's why I started using this platform. So speaking to as many talents throughout COVID and to where we are now, you are in such a large group of athletes that we're so unsure of. Not only what is wrestling going to be in another 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, but what the hell do I do? Like, I'm a wrestler. This is my dream. This is my goal. This is my passion. That's what I'm meant to be. What the F do I do if wrestling shuts down? So I did want to pull that little bit out of what you were talking about, and just tell you, you were in a lot of company and definitely not alone, Mr. Dalton.
Yeah, it was definitely like when you decide. I've always known that this is what I want to do. So when you have your mind made up, you don't have a backup plan. When this is all you have, and you're sitting there wondering if it's ever going to come back, and because it started to, and especially as hot as the indies were at that time, I feel like right now is the very best time, and right before COVID as well, to become a professional wrestler or get into this business in any facet or form. Right now is with the amount of companies out there that are paying, with the amount of independence, with the amount of passionate wrestling fans, this is the best time I think ever to be a professional wrestler, sports entertainer, whatever you call it. I do both. This is the best time, but just to not know was definitely scary. But as much of a bad thing that it was, if it doesn't happen, I don't know where I'd be. I may be still trying to be a pro wrestler, but who knows? It's you can't live on what ifs. And one thing that I am big on is not saying if, but when, and being positive. And I wanted this to come back because this is all I've ever wanted to do, and I'm doing it. And if COVID doesn't happen, I might not go down to Florida and get trained by who I got trained by, get the experience that I got, and be talking to you right now. I might not have had 3 or 2.5 years to really flesh out and know who the hell I am when it comes to this crazy world of professional wrestling. One thing that I was taught by my teachers, my coaches, was to filter things in. So everyone in this business is going to tell you something, right? And you got to be able to filter the good with the bad, and always be able to listen and make decisions for yourself. So that's definitely one thing that I take into account when doing anything. Is I'm always here to listen to anybody. And you mentioned you mentioned Eric with he also has his show on YouTube, and I just want to give a quick shout out to him because he's been great to me so far. Just seeing, because I'm like you said, wrestling being put on hold really didn't affect just the wrestlers. It affected the media or the people that cover it, the people that love it, and just in general the pro wrestling fans. And you, Eric, everybody in your space, learn to adapt, because that's what you have to do in this business. Especially look at someone like Chris Jericho. That's someone I love. He's in my top 5 ever. He adapts constantly. You can't just sit there and stay stagnant. You can't sit there and just live on the old stuff. You have to be able to adapt. So with you adapting to Skype, you're probably able to get to more and more wrestlers and grow your channel, grow your outreach. And I just want to say that I appreciate what you and Eric and Rick Del Santo and others do by helping young guys get their names out there. So thank you.
Absolutely warms my heart when the talents thank us, boys and girls, because they always say, and it's still even to this day, I get texts from a couple wrestlers on a daily, and one of them even said, "Without me, there was no you. There's no without you, there's no me." And you guys and girls, you say that kind of stuff to me all the time, and again, like Eric and Foggy and Rick Del Santo and others.
Forgot Foggy as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you to Fogman as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But without you guys, there's no us. So I always speak on the Guy Show. I always speak on the Guy Show how this dance, if you will, between the fans and the wrestlers. There's so many different elements, not only to your toolbox as an athlete, a performer, however, like you said, it's hard to just pin a word on nowadays, because, and I always say there's so many facets and so many tools that it takes to become a wrestler. One of the I always say this, one of the hardest things in my point of view, hardest things in the universe is to become a singles wrestler. Because of all of the tools that you need to build before you even get out in that spotlight and have your first match, that you should have under your belt before you have your first match. Not all the boys and girls do have all of these tools and just really want to jump the gun and get out there. They may have the gear. They may have some of them other tools, but they don't have all of the tools necessary. When you come through the curtain, you seem to have those tools at the ready and in place for being a professional wrestler. And you can see that right off the top. And I feel that's why the fans that we speak of and that you see at these shows are really drawing and grasping on to the guy, Jack Dalton, because of that reason. Now, when you come out the curtain, that's one of those elements that I was speaking of with the look, the speaking, the in-ring ability. Without connecting, and I speak about this, is the connection with the fans and the performer when they first come out through those curtains. I mean, my goodness, it's so hit or it's so miss. Boys and girls, from the very first time I've ever seen Jack Dalton come through that curtain, him and the crowd have a relationship. I don't know how he's done it without spreading his good name of Jack Dalton around in many, many promotions to get to that point, because it's one of the hardest things to do as a wrestler, being a fan that I've seen and that I bring up in interviews with the talent, I feel it's one of those hardest things in the toolbox, if you will, to connect with the fans when you come to that curtain. You're feeling that connection pretty much right off the ripper. I have to say, you have to feel what we're feeling already. Do you not?
No, I do, and I think one of the most important things in this business is buzz, is having that buzz. So what I did was during that downtime at COVID, yeah, some people were training, some people were um, doing things in the business. Personally, I didn't feel it was the right time for me because of what was going on, but I was constantly thinking about what I would do. I got gear made with the guy right on it. I knew who I was going to be and what I was going to do. But creating that buzz, I put out promos. I practiced my promos. I felt that connection. Especially I feel like it's never going to be the right time. So if there's anyone listening that is thinking about, oh, well, I got to do this, and that, and I got to over prepare, because I'm definitely one of those people that over prepares. But I feel like in this business, it's something that helps me more than it does. That's negative. It's definitely a positive to over prepare. I didn't want to be, I said it in the Blood, Sweat, and Tears promo that got put out yesterday for Mega Clash in August. I am not just another pro wrestler. I'm the guy amongst the guys. I do not want to be known as just another guy. I want when people to leave the show, no matter what great match happened, I want them to be talking about me. I want them to say, that dude and that guy in that white leather jacket and the nice gear, and the dude, he can cut promos, he can talk, he means everything he says, because there's a lot of guys out there that want to do this. There's a lot of guys out there that are just happy to be here. I'm not one of them. I've always wanted to do this, and believe me, I appreciate the opportunity, because that's what this is. It is an opportunity. It's nothing is guaranteed, especially in the professional wrestling business. But I don't want to be just another wrestler. I want to be a star. I want to be on TV. I want to sign that contract. I want it all. I want to be everything that I say I am. Because if there's anybody out there that thinks the balls on this kid to call himself the guy, he hasn't done anything. Who'd you ever be? You haven't done anything. You've had a cup of coffee in this business, if that. Maybe a little smidge of coffee. I feel like I am prepared for it all, and I'm ready for it. No matter what opportunities put in front of me, I am gonna take it. I've seen a promo where Triple H talked about it. You got to see this life, and you got to squeeze it. You got to take it for everything you want from it, and that's what I'm gonna do with this business. No one is gonna tell me no. No one's gonna tell me that I'm not gonna make it. No one's gonna tell me that I'm not the guy, because I believe it. Whether you believe it or not, believe me, I will make you believe it. When you leave a show, you're going to say, that dude means business.
Hearing you speak, I love just the attitude, the way you carry yourself, and again, not the cockiness, but the confidence. Without that specific word, confidence, wrestling, you just kind of find yourself here. You need that confidence to elevate yourself, get your stock raised, as they say in the business. Sure. And now, hearing you speak, I love it all. But if I was on the Facebook, I'd probably put something like a meh GIF as a response. But that's what I do. Kind of push a little, kind of push little buttons and such.
Hey, you got to be pushed. You got to be able to be pushed, right? Especially in this business, you got to have thick skin. I think I have the thickest, because I truly don't care what people think or what anyone thinks. I'll take all the praise in the world, but when it comes to negativity, it goes in one ear and out the other, and then it comes right out here. And I always got something to say.
Now I never compare story to story, but hearing you, and we've been running about 30 minutes now, hearing how you went to Florida, take COVID, just put it aside for now. And I know that's kind of hard, but let's just put COVID aside.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
hearing your story, what you did for yourself, for your career. And I'm going to just have to say, as you're speaking to me, I'm envisioning another person and his story and who is in our media area. And I know you know who he is and the way he's changed his persona, his stock, as we just mentioned. One Lucas Chase, The Cure, Lucas Chase. You guys have, I know you can't see it on my skinny little arms, but just kind of the comparison of you two right now, your stories. You decide, F this, I'm going to Florida. I am taking the biggest chance of my life, and I am going to make my career change right now. You put your foot down in your career, in your life, and you changed it. Now, Lucas Chase, he's been in wrestling, but he just wasn't really satisfied with where he was, or maybe the association of some of the other talent that he was with. And he did the same thing. He's got a beautiful, beautiful family at home. My guy went to Texas and went to Rhodes Wrestling Academy and became the very first ever Rhodes Wrestling Academy heavyweight champion. Your two stories are very similar, but different in the same token, for a couple different reasons, but for the same reasons. It's kind of so wild. I really did want to point that out just because, again, you're telling your story and I'm envisioning Lucas Chase going to Texas. It's just absolutely amazing how uncanny two wrestlers in the same area, very, very similar stories kind of on the upcoming, if you will, in different areas, different timelines in their career.
It is so good to hear that there is someone else that did that. And before I went to Florida, I briefly met him a few times. Now I see him all the time, and he's someone I can relate to because he knows what I went through and what I have up here. Right? He's someone that definitely I can relate to, and I can have a conversation with. That it's very similar because, like you said, our paths have been very, very similar, right next to each other. And hopefully soon, one day they'll cross. I know in September we do have a match. It's an 8-man now, not a 6-man anymore for 2TW. And I'm definitely looking forward to stepping in the ring with the Cure. When the Cure meets the guy, the world's gonna explode. I see a lot of similarities between Lucas and myself when it comes to the way we carry ourselves, who we've been trained by, probably the knowledge that was passed on to us, just our looks, our just that presentation. Like I said, perception is reality, and what you present yourself as is how people are going to view you. So the way you look, walk, talk, and act. When I decided to become a pro wrestler, even before I went to Florida, there was certain standards I have in my head that I want to live up to. And that comes with gear, the way I look, my physique, my just the all around presentation of the guy, of Jack Dalton, of me. And I feel like Lucas feels that same way. There's people that just do this, and then there's people that want to take this to the next level. And he is definitely a talent in this area. And screw it, not even just this area, but all around. He is someone who gets it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's someone who has it. I believe that Lucas and myself have something you can't teach. You can always get better at wrestling, but you can't teach what we have. You cannot teach the it factor. You can't teach being able to talk. You can practice promos all you want, but you can't ooze charisma like how the Cure Lucas Chase and the guy Jack Dalton do. And he's someone that is on my list. I have a list of guys that I need to step into the ring with, whether that be by my side or against me, and he is at the top of that list. In that Blood, Sweat, and Tears promo I put out yesterday, I mentioned him because he's going for what I want. Right now, the Blood, Sweat, and Tears championship, that's Flash Waller's territory, and I don't know if he's walking out after that ladder match in August with that title. I think Lucas might have his number this time, and that might just be something down the line that I'm looking to go for because, like I said, I want it all. And if he has what I want, hopefully that's a match that that the people want to see, because that's a match I want to have.
I'm definitely down. Absolutely, because of the comparisons, not even the stories, but again, you both look professional. You have, now that I've heard your story, you've went to a different destination away from home, out of your comfort zone, and took a chance on yourself. That right there, when you come back home, seeing Lucas Chase's difference in his physique and the way he was doing promos, because I'm following it on YouTube. I'm seeing the promos he's cutting. I'm seeing the matches that he's in. I'm seeing his physique transform in front of me from match to match or from promo to promo, however I'm seeing him. I'm telling you, man, I'm like, man, when this dude comes home, shit is not the same. It's not going to be the same for him.
You said it. Getting outside your comfort zone, right? The most uncomfortable thing you can do is leave home. The most uncomfortable thing you can do is do something that's not guaranteed. And he chose to, like you said, leave his family. He has a beautiful family. He left them to go pursue his dream and take it to the next level. He doesn't want to be just another wrestler. He wants to be the best. And I commend him for that, because I feel the same exact way. There's guys that do this just to do it. I don't want to be a weekend warrior, and there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. But you seen him on AEW. Guess what? You're gonna see me there too. It is my goal to be at the top. And he stepped outside his comfort zone. I stepped outside my comfort zone, and it was the scariest yet best thing I've ever done. I do not regret it, not even one fiber. It was the best thing I ever did. Best thing. It's not the best thing I'm ever gonna do. I'm definitely gonna exceed that. But words of wisdom, anyone out there, step outside your comfort zone. Your life will change.
I think I title each episode different so they have their own flavor, and it's usually something that the talent has stated within their story or the interview. I already had the title of I'm always at 11, but I think step out of your comfort zone. I think that's a really good title for this one because of how this conversation has gone right now.
For sure. I'm a passionate guy. Anyone who's close to me knows I'm pretty reserved, right? But if you're someone that is around me, I am definitely someone who continuously is just looking to improve myself, and am just surrounding myself with positive people, because I have no time for negativity and negative people. And like you said, I'm always at 11. And whether that's, I feel like you, even if I'm a calm, cool, collected guy, you can be at 11 because you can have cool, calm, and collected intensity. And I feel like I'm intense in that way.
Yes, absolutely. Now, a couple things. I'd love to talk. First off, do you mind if I smoke on the Guy Show? Is that allowed?
Hey, I don't make the rules. I just come up with the title. So you do whatever you want.
All right. Just a couple guys talking wrestling, talking to guys.
That's it.
So I always like to kind of pick apart the moniker and name that's attached to the person that we're speaking with, because we've talked about the guy and what it's actually representing already for 39 minutes. We know what the guy stands for, what the guy is all about. Jack Dalton, could you speak about the name? First off, is it your government name? And if it isn't, that's okay. You don't have to tell us. We don't need to know stuff like that, because then you kind of get weird mail and stuff. You don't want that. You don't want that. So speak about the name, where it comes from. Does it represent anything? And give us kind of the origin, if you will.
For sure. So it is not my government name. I would say it's a stage name. Plenty of people have a stage name. Tom Cruise's real name isn't Tom Cruise.
Wait. Are you kidding me right now?
No, it's not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's wow. Little bit of information right there. Go see Top Gun. It was a great movie. Left there wanting to have a mustache. I almost did it, but So Dalton is I'm not gonna say it's my first or last name, but it is that's definitely part of the government name.
Okay.
I always loved my name. I always felt like it was a strong name. Anytime I said it to someone, they said, "Is that your last name?" I'm not gonna say if it is or not, but I feel like I'm all about standing out. I'm all about being different, and there's only one other Dalton I can think of in pro wrestling that's really made a name for himself, being Dalton Castle, and he's definitely someone I look to for inspiration because he is fantastic in the ring, and oozes charisma.
Oh my goodness!
And then the Jack part, I actually got to see. I got the privilege of going to the Ring of Honor show, the Death Before Dishonor show this past weekend, and I got to see him in person, and his match was great. Anyways, I like I said, I like to talk a lot. The Jack part. So there's a guy named Jack Nicholson. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's someone. I'm a big movie buff. I love film. I love cinema. I love watching movies. And my favorite actor is Jack Nicholson. And it's not just the name, but the way he carries himself, the way that he oozes that silent charisma. I feel I'm very similar in that aspect, and I've always related to his characters in movies, especially as Joker in the Batman '89. I'm an old soul. I love the '80s. I love everything about that time period when it comes to fashion, music, the movies. I love it all. And so there's that Jack there. He's Jack pretty much in a lot of his movies, but the cool, calm, collected coolness, that cool factor that he has, that's really where that name came from. Before I was born, my name was supposed to be Joseph John. Before my parents watched the movie Roadhouse.
That's where I thought it originated from, the Dalton thing. So
yeah, so they watched the movie Roadhouse and then came up with my name. And he's another one, walks into a room and he has that factor where everyone says, "Who's that?" I have no other choice but for that to be my favorite movie because I wouldn't be here without it. But really, that's where it's from. It's all derives from movies and just people that inspire me, and just because half of it is my government name.
I'm just gonna stick on Roadhouse just for a quick second.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a little bit older. I'm 51. So I mean, I got a little bit of age on me. But when seeing Roadhouse for the first time, and you as a wrestling fan, that's where I'm going with this. You as a wrestling fan, seeing Terry Funk. Yeah. Do you not lose your mind and just pop and you're like, holy shit, it's Terry Funk?
So it was probably a movie I shouldn't have seen as young as I did. But watching it the first time, I never noticed that until I watched it a few years ago when I was older. And I said, holy shit, that's Terry Funk. I never realized. And then I started watching all the other 80s movies that he's in, and I couldn't believe how many wrestlers are in 80s movies. I always knew Hogan was, but I didn't realize how many of those, how many wrestlers did movies in the 80s, which is also one of my goals. I want to be in movies. I feel like this face, this persona, this charisma that I ooze, I feel like I could make a pretty fine actor. So that is one of my goals. A lot of wrestlers do get into that, but eventually, if there's anyone watching this that needs the guy, call the guy.
Hey, call the guy. Wow. All right. We have the guy, wrestler, multi-tool. Multi-tool, the guy. Multi-tool Dalton. Multi-tool Dalton. No, I can't call it that. I won't call it that.
Yeah, it doesn't come out of the tongue like the guy.
Yeah, that could go for many different meanings. And never mind. I was gonna say that could be your OnlyFans, multi-tool Dalton.
Hey, they make a lot of money, and more power to all of them. I don't know if I'm that confident.
I feel you there, my man. Whew. I remember a post that I put up. I'm starting my OnlyFans, and I put up a picture of George Burns in a diaper. Or not George Burns, Mr. Burns from frickin' The Simpsons.
Gotcha.
Woo! I go, this is my first picture from my OnlyFans. Yeah, that's neither here or there. But now we've seen you at Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I've seen you at the likes of the debut of SGW, Survival Championship Pro Wrestling, right?
I wasn't there. I mean, I hope to be there, but I wasn't there. It was
Okay.
probably 2TW I was at.
Oh,
Tough and
2TW. Yes, Tough and Talented. I'm sorry, my dad, my one brain cell. The data banks are very. So we've seen you at a couple promotions. We've seen you over at Shut Up and Wrestle at the Kevin Landry Combine over in Holyoke. I've actually seen, now, boys and girls, we've talked about the etiquette in the locker room a bunch of times on this show with the talent. And we've talked about doing the drives. What can I do? Bob Evans, Uncle Bob Evans puts it the best. When you're reaching out, hey, what can I do for your show? How can I make it better? Oh, you need me to put up some chairs and help you out with the ring and maybe clean up after the fact? Hey, just bring your gear. You never know. Oh, cool. I can do that. That's how easy it is. Doing these things. I've seen Mr. Dalton doing it prime right in front of my eyes. I've seen it firsthand. And I'm going to just call it out the way it was. Test of Strength at Undeniable 3. I seen Jack Dalton, and I was like, holy shit, Jack Dalton's on the card. He's like, no, not really. I go, oh. So doing the drives, shaking the hands, introducing yourself, helping out with the ring crew, maybe even doing a little sweeping, grabbing the chairs, whatever you got to do to get your name in some of these, to get your foot in some of these promotions' door. That's what the business of wrestling is all about, is doing these kind of things, the old school mentality, if you will. And I see that in one Jack Dalton. So you've been taught in a way where I feel it's got that old school mentality. And not only that, with your etiquette, your in-ring seems more of a mat technician. It's not this guy who wants to run to the top rope all the time and try to ooh and ah the crowd with his flashy stuff. He wants to ooh and ah the crowd with his voice, with his looks, with him kicking the ass of his opponent inside that ring and doing it again. And I'm just bringing it back to old school mentality. That's what I see. Am I wrong there?
No, you're spot on. I consider myself an old school guy, whether that's in the ring or outside the ring. Like I said, I love the 80s. When it comes to music, I listen to everything, but a lot of it isn't newer stuff. My theme music going forward is going to be The Stroke by Billy Squier, because I do have this stroke around here. But I learned just getting into this business. I've always studied it. So whether that's listening to podcasts or watching videos, they always talk about the wrestling etiquette. And then with the knowledge that I gained through training where I trained, it's another thing that was instilled in me is, as much as I come off maybe a little cocky or confident, I am humbled to be in this business, and I am willing to do whatever it takes for that. So if I have to pay dues, that's what I'm willing to do. And it's not even like I have to do it. I want to do it. I want to show these promotions and these promoters that I don't have an ego. In that ring, I might, but when it comes to helping out and doing my part, I am all for that. So setting up chairs or just showing up to a show early and seeing what I can do is not beyond or above anybody. And if anyone in this business thinks that they're, that's below them, then you shouldn't be here. You got to help out and to get an opportunity. So that's really where it comes from. It's just it was taught to me, and then I always just knew that there's a certain etiquette in this business that you have to have. Nobody likes someone. They might hate you outside the curtain, but if you're hated behind that, you're not really benefiting yourself or anybody else, for that matter. But yeah, like I said, I consider myself an old school guy. So when it comes to my gear, my in-ring style, the promos, I try to really take inspiration from a lot of older wrestlers. Not as much today, there is two guys that are doing it better than anyone in the world. I think they're two of the best wrestlers, pro wrestlers, sports entertainers in the world, whether that's tag or singles, that being FTR. I take a lot of inspiration from those guys. I hope one day that I get to share a ring with them or just get to talk to them and pick their brain. I love talking about old school wrestling. I love just being able to be around people that can give me knowledge. Another guy would be Bret Hart. Those are my favorite wrestler of all time is Bret Hart. My favorite tag team of all time is FTR. And those are they implement even at that time that Bret was doing it. They implemented a lot of the newer stuff at that time, just like FTR does now, but giving a old school feel. And that's what I want to present myself as. I wear the high-waisted trunks, right? I like that look. I like that old school look. When coming up with what I wanted to wear and how I wanted to present myself, I didn't want to just walk out there in a t-shirt. So I invested in a jacket, and my jacket, I feel, makes, it's half the look right there. I feel like people identify me with that jacket now. And a lot of those older wrestlers have that. And it wasn't just a jacket. I got my logo put on it. I came up with my logo. I designed that logo. This is all stuff I did during the pandemic, preparing myself for what I wanted to do going forward whenever it was going to end. I had all these ideas. But when I study tape, when I watch old school stuff, I will watch a lot of the old NWA stuff or AWA, or the Southern wrestling. A lot of that era. There are stars, a lot of Bobby Eaton. A ton of Bret Hart. I love his style. Right? I don't want to be one of those guys that is older and not being able to play with his kids or just be in a lot of pain. And I feel like a lot of the stuff today, I think it's amazing what people can do. I think if I could do it, I would do it. I don't disrespect it at all. I think there's a pro wrestling or sports entertainment for everyone. So like, that's why I like AEW a lot. It's a variety show. You watch that and there's something for every type of wrestling fan and every type of wrestler. They say it's for everyone. And I see that. But just for me personally, I can't do any of that stuff, like with the high flying, just at my size, and nor do I really want to. I just really like making people feel something, and I feel like the best that I can do it is through that old school type of ring technician, with my look, the way I talk, the way I present myself, and the way that I wrestle in the ring.
Yep. Absolutely. With all of what Mr. Dalton just said, I'm going to bring you back just as recently as Shut Up and Wrestle 23. And I wasn't at the previous two, if I'm not mistaken. The 21 and 22 I missed. But I've been basically at every single one of them besides. And I have not seen a debut of you there. But what you've seen me do at Shut Up and Wrestle is what I usually do at all of the Shut Up and Wrestles. I get up there. I start from the entrance because I think entrances are like one of the major portions of that first impression, if you will, when you come through that curtain. And it's about, the music and stuff. And I'm just going to talk about the music real quick before I move on. And I know you've got the stroke. I get that. But my friend, if Jack Dalton uses the stroke from here to eternity, I get flagged on YouTube every single time. We have to find a customized, beautiful custom theme for one Jack Dalton that really can show what Jack Dalton is all about without using maybe something as the stroke. And I only say this out of love, my man. Well, actually, I say for two reasons: out of love for one Jack Dalton, and so I don't get flagged on YouTube.
Well, any of the music peeps out there that are listening, Jack Dalton needs a theme, and it's got to sound 80s.
Oh wow, it's got to sound 80s. I have a couple
It's
guys
got to
in
give
mind.
off the vibe. It's got to give off that vibe. The way I have a playlist on my Spotify I named it The Guy, and it's what gets me in the mode. It gets me in the game, that mindset. And it's all really 80s rock and just that vibe. I want if you were to listen to it, that's what I'm trying to present, was when you hear a song and you feel something, and I want to do that same thing when you see me in the ring. I want you to feel something, but the way that when I listen to that music, that's who the guy is. It's the way when you're driving down the road with the top down, or you have your windows open and you're blasting your favorite song, and you feel like the man, you feel like the guy, you feel like somebody that could take on anything and everyone at that moment. That's who the guy is, and that's what my music's got to sound like. So,
Well,
anyone out there?
I have a guy in mind I might be able to turn you on to. We'll have to see how that works out. Interesting. We might have done something here, boys and girls. Look at that. I forgot where I was going with all of that, and I went into the theme music.
That's my bad. I talk too much.
No, that's my bad, because I changed subject like that because, again, my one brain cell. That's why I don't write anything down. I just let it go. But I will come back to something else that I did want to speak about. Being a singles wrestler, trying to come up and make that name for one Jack Dalton. The guy, Jack Dalton. Being a singles wrestler, being put in to something, we'll say, as you've already spoken upon, an 8-man craziness going on. I don't know what they call them nowadays. There's always there's a scramble, or there's something attached to these match names.
I think it was a scramble, and now they're calling it an all-out war, which is probably what it's going to
be. Being a singles wrestler, you'll be put in be put in a position of a multi-man war, if you will. Now, right around the corner being, as soon as this Saturday, via carrier pigeon, you were sent a message because you have to be in a tag team match with one Zachariah Gibbs at Coliseum Pro Wrestling in West Haven. I didn't get to see their debut event, but I will be going to their event this Saturday because my love Cindy Hart, ring announcer extraordinaire, upcoming, is going to be. By the way. Yeah, thank you. I will thank you for her. She's debuting at Coliseum Pro Wrestling, so we'll be down there this Saturday in West Haven. But my point being of saying all of that is, singles, we have this multi-man thing coming up. You have a tag team coming up. Excuse me. I've already seen you in a tag team with, let's see if I say this correct, Arcane Axel. Well, is that correct? Yep. The dude who breathes fire. Holy shit sticks. That dude was breathing fire.
He's a bad MFer. And shout out to him. He also is someone who bet on himself, and he went all the way down to the Black and the Brave Academy and got trained by Seth Rollins. So
yes, Seth Rollins. I don't know if you're aware of one Conan Lycan. If you are not, look this guy up. He's out of the Black and Brave, or Brave and Black. I forget.
I've seen his videos on Instagram. He's a bigger dude, but he does like a 450.
Yeah. I've seen him.
I got my finger on the pulse of the independents, and really, I look at everything, whether that's social media or just clips on YouTube. I like to like, if I'm in a locker room, be like, oh, I seen your stuff. I don't like to BS people. If I haven't seen it, I'm gonna check it out, and if I have, I'm gonna let them know.
The very first time I've ever seen him was at the debut of, oh my goodness, my brain again, Survival Championship Wrestling, I want to say, in Rensselaer, New York, and I'm in the front row. And this dude comes out, and he's basically Jason Momoa, just in a different form, if you will. And he does a standing moonsault on the outside, on the mat, onto his opponent, right in front of me. I got it on film, and I see it through the camera, and I'm just like, are you shitting me right now? Like, I'm like, holy cow. I did get the pleasure of speaking with him, and later on, I got the pleasure of having him on Sir in the Pod. That was really, really cool to have him on the show. And again, I forgot because I changed subjects where the hell I was going originally.
CPW Saturday tag.
Oh, yeah, CPW. Oh, the singles thing. That's what you're upcoming as. That's pretty much your goal, is to be the guy as a singles wrestler.
Yep.
Being put in something that's mysterious with question marks all over it, being an 8-man all-out war, or a tag team with a message being sent via carrier pigeon with Zachariah Gibbs all the way from Lancaster. I mean, these are question marks that are these things just, you have to adapt. Like you were saying earlier, would you prefer to be just a singles wrestler, or are you just taking on these roles, what the promoter wants of one Jack Dalton, to be like, you know what, I can do whatever you want because I'm the guy?
So I said it, and I'll say it again. I want it all because I can do it all. Being the guy isn't just about what you want to do. Being the guy is being able to do anything, be put in any situation and thrive. And that's what I plan on doing, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the promotion. When you need somebody to deliver, you call the guy. When you need someone to get a reaction, you call the guy. When you need asses in seats, you call the guy. And that's, I'm not trying to be a utility player or be a good hand. I want to be at the top. I want to be at the top.
I'm sorry.
I want to be at the top. I want to be the top guy. I want to be the guy in professional wrestling. When I walk into a locker room, I want to be that mainstay, that main guy that everyone came to see. But the way to get there is to get your name out there. So I'm willing to take any booking and any situation and make it into whatever I want it to be. And so when it comes to an 8-man match, that's definitely something that is, I'm not going to say intimidating, because I'm not intimidated, but it's definitely a challenge. You know, you got 7 other dudes coming at you from every different way or every different angle, and you might have to make some alliances during that match. And I know that one Lucas Chase is in that match, so I might be able to maybe make an alliance in that match, and then who knows, maybe take everyone else out, and then there's 2 top guys in there that they're gonna have to battle it out. But when it comes to CPW this Saturday, Coliseum Pro Wrestling, little known, it's not a known fact actually. So Hunter Tarka and Lorenzo Vendetta, those 2 dudes are, like I said in my promo, 2 of the baddest cats. You know, I might not like them, but I got to give them their due. They've been dominating everywhere they go. They show up, they put people down, and they leave. And that's, okay. I have the same goal, so I respect that. I respect them. It doesn't mean I like them. So that being said, I know how good they are. I know what they're capable of. And a not known fact is I actually, I grew up for a little while with Zachariah Gibbs until he disappeared one day when we were young kids, like 3-4 years old. And he disappeared. I don't know where he went. And then I see him pop up a few years later, like 10, 15 years later, and he was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania this whole time, and he became part of the Amish. I had no idea where he was. I was worried sick. So then I get this message. I'm standing outside on my front porch drinking my morning cup of coffee, and I see a bird flying at me. Like I didn't know what it was. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's the guy, and it's this carrier pigeon. It drops this little message in my hand. I open it up, and it says, "I need a partner," and then it just says, "From Zach Gibbs." So I got to find a way to contact this guy. So somehow I got in contact with him. I meet up with him. He tells me that we have a match coming up for Coliseum Pro Wrestling. They said, find a partner. He said, I know just the guy. He thought about me because we had our first match against each other. My first match in this business was against him, and we beat the hell out of each other. And there's no better way to get someone's respect than to beat the hell out of each other. So we made that bond. Really, nice. Hadn't seen him for 15 years, and then we beat the hell out of each other. And now I'm going to be his partner. And he told me that he trusts me, and I trust him because we have a bond that not a lot of people know about. So Hunter Tarka, Lorenzo Vendetta, I know how good you are, but coming out of this Saturday, me and old Zach Gibbs are going to be 10 pounds heavier because we're gonna leave some gold around our waist, and our pockets are going to be a lot fatter because guess what? The winners get paid more. And I don't plan on losing, and I don't plan on not being the first ever CPW tag team champions with my now good friend. You may even call him a brother, the Amish Nightmare, if you will, Zachariah Gibbs. And we actually have a team name. We are the Gibbs and the Guy Show.
Oh, wow.
Money. Print it.
Well, I would like to, a couple things. First off,
I know I left you speechless. I do that a lot.
well, I want to pick my words very carefully around the guy. Zachariah Gibbs is a jackass. He yells at me. He chases me. I try to just film what we're doing here, the experience. I'm trying to do stuff for one Zachariah Gibbs. It's not my fault that that they played the wrong music, some Pineapple song or some shit for Zachariah Gibbs. I didn't do that, but he chases me. You've seen it firsthand. I shut up and wrestle. These guys chase me. He's one of them. So I just want to say that. Okay. Second
I
up,
want to let you know, Zach, he is, I think, slowly turning over a new leaf. He's coming back to the light side. He told me that he likes you. He likes the Don, because that's your new name. You're not just Don Kincaid. You're the Don, because I'm the guy, and I said that you're the Don. There you go. Print it.
Bang, bang! I'm the Don, baby. How you like some of that sugar? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Thank you, the guy. Okay. I'll never call Mr. Gibbs a jackass again. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, if he if he turns on me or something, or he pisses me off, then you can do whatever you want. But as of right now, he is absolutely one of my best friends in the world, and he can trust me, and I can trust him, and we have a bond that can't be broken. So if you mess with him, I'm sorry, Don, but you're messing with me, because for one night only, well, not even one night only, for this coming Saturday, we are partners, and we are going to be the first ever CPW Tag Team Champions. And I'm not looking past anybody that's in the other matches. Just know that you'll be meeting me and Zach in the finals. And I'm sorry that you're going to lose.
Okay. The second thing I've been trying to pull pieces out is Battle Academy. Meow. I love doing that. I think it's hilarious. They don't like it at all. They don't like it. No,
I don't care. No, I might meow at them too.
Oh my! Mr. Dalton, oh my God, if you're literally in the ring and you look at either one of them or both of them in the eye and you go, Battle Academy, meow, I swear I will lose my entire shit, and probably I might break a few ribs laughing. I mean, that would be something so hilarious. Woo, that would be absolute money, as the kids say. Oh God, that would be hilarious.
Welcome to the Meow Show.
Okay. Woo, that would be
I can't make any promises. When I'm in that ring, I'm a different guy. I'm like,
no, I
see red. I'm focused on the task at hand. I'm very serious. I like to have in that ring. It's business. It's not nothing's personal in there. It's just business.
Okay. Oh man, that was a good time right there for me. Holy shit, I'm just envisioning all it go down. Oh, that would be absolutely amazing.
Everyone, you want to see it live and in color? This Saturday in West Haven at the Elks Lodge, CPW Coliseum Pro Wrestling. You're going to see the guy and Zach Gibbs become the first ever CPW Tag Team Champions. Be there. It is the place to be this Saturday.
Yeah, and I've said this about every single episode. May it be a talent or a promotion. If you've never heard of any of these promotions that myself or Mr. Dalton has spoken of, rewind a little bit, jot them down, or just type them up and look them up on the medias, because Coliseum Pro, that's a brand new promotion that's popped up in Connecticut. They're only having their second show this Saturday. So, I
And it's
mean,
gonna
we
be
want to, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I mean, we want to get more eyes on the product. We want to get more eyes on the talent that we've spoken of.
There's a reason they call this the Beast Coast, because that's one thing that, believe me, I loved living in Florida. I loved it. The weather was nice. The women were beautiful. The towns, everything. It was it was fantastic. It was a great time. But I had to come back up here to the Beast Coast because there are so many great wrestlers and so many great promotions popping up left and right. And then especially the established ones. I want to work for them all. I want to make every single one of them the guy show. I want my name to be a household name in the New England area and beyond. Speaking of beyond, I want to work there too.
Speaking of beyond, boom, got that one in there. Yes, because we see the likes of the Miracle Generation being Kylan King and Dustin Flash Waller. We see the likes of Brother Greatness. Don't do me a favor. You ever see Brother Greatness? Just yell Mike Skyros at him. He loves that stuff. We see the likes of the main event as a tag team, Lion and Midas Black. We see the likes of Alec Price really make it. I mean, he's been around beyond and for a while. And so,
Every name is absolutely killing it, and I would love to get in the ring with any of them, especially those in the Miracle Generation. I have known them for a very long time, and those are four of the most talented individuals in the Northeast, and I need to be in the ring with them.
I did not mean to dismiss the Haven, because usually the Miracle Generation is just two, but the Miracle Generation is Dustin Flashwaller. Collectively, Dustin Flashwaller, Kylan King, Jay Onyx and Sean Knight. Sean Knight and Jay Onyx, they make up a tag team called the Haven. They do their thing at Beyond and elsewhere, BST and some of the other promotions that we've spoken of already. Again, young talent, really on fire right now, but doing the drives, getting on that IWTV platform and multiple promotions. And let's speak about that real quick, because you speak of the old. We were talking about old mentality. You were kind of presenting yourself as an old school guy, an 80s guy in your soul, if you will. Back then, there was obviously no interweb. So there was a lot of tape exchanges and a lot of handwritten stuff and zero, copies of your resume or whatever there was. It wasn't like it is now, where you can just kind of put a little package together and send off some maybe highlights and whatnot and all of that. So obviously it's a very different time. But IWTV right now, with that as a platform in the industry of independent wrestling is just absolutely amazing how many promotions they have under their umbrella. Talk to us about you being a professional wrestler and seeing a platform, and that's just one to speak of. But I mean, it's one of the most popular, I guess, if you will, IWTV being platforms to stream a lot of this stuff live and to go back and look at the vaults and check out prior events and stuff. But talk to us the fans, as a professional wrestler, what a platform like IWTV means.
Like I said before, this is the very best time to be a professional wrestler or be in this crazy carny world at all, because there's so many platforms, especially IWTV, Fight TV, that you can really get your name out there just being on social media. I post on social media pretty much every day. I almost annoy myself with how much I do it, but I feel like it's necessary to get your name out there. I wanted to, on my first show, to people to know who I was. On my first show, I showed up and they said, "Oh, I've seen your stuff." I actually think it was Mrs. Hart. She said it to me, and she said, "I've seen your stuff," and that's by design. I want to get my name out there as much as possible. I want to show up and people know who I am, what I'm about,
already, and I think those platforms, especially IWTV, are fantastic, and definitely a goal of mine in the immediate future is to get there, to get on there in any facet. I do want to start coming up. I know that they have the Wrestle Open on every Thursday. Um, just being like I said, I kind of put life on hold to do wrestling. So just getting that time to go up there and pay my dues and help set up so that I can get my name out there is definitely something that I am wanting to do very, very, very soon. Because not only do you get to get the exposure being on IWTV, you also get to rub elbows and work with and just be around some of the best talent, not just in New England, but in the world. I know that they have a lot of guys and girls there that are just super talented and that are either on TV or have had good exposure that are doing this as their life. Like this is the life that they live, which is my goal. So just being around those people is definitely something that one is motivating, but two, uh, I'm always someone who's going to ask questions and pick brains, and just being able to be around people like that is a privilege. So just getting up there and doing that is something that I'm very interested in doing in the immediate future. I'm not someone I don't want to sit back and just wait for my time, because my time is now. None of us are getting any younger, right? We only get as much as we know. We only get one go around at this, and I want to make this my life. And to do that, you have to put it before everything else. I see guys like the Haven and Flash Waller and Kylon King getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because they show up, help out, and they bust their ass inside the ring and outside of it. They're becoming household names in New England because of the work that they put in and the branching out that they do. Flash just worked GCW. That's the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest independent in the world right now. You whether you there's something. It's also a variety show. They used to be a deathmatch company. I feel like they're really moving towards being a company that just shows the best independent wrestling that they possibly can. And they do see a lot of crossover from the people on the Beyonds and the Chaotix and the Wrestling Open. So that's definitely an immediate goal of mine, and I love that that's a platform. Right now, there's just so much wrestling. There's like I am so happy that in the position I am and the business that I'm in right now, in the time frame that I am, because not that it's easy at all, but it is like you said, old school guys, they didn't have the opportunities and the exposure, right? Wrestling was a close-ended business, right? If you weren't liked or you got blackballed, you were done, right? They call it a carny business for a reason, and there's a lot of carny people left in it, and hopefully a lot of them are kind of weeding out, because wrestling in general is for everybody. Pro wrestling, sports entertainment, every company should be all inclusive and be for everyone, because that's what wrestling is, right? You should be able to watch it and see someone either like you or someone you aspire to be, and see that and be like, I want to be like that, because I had guys like that when I was a kid that I watched, whether they were good guys or bad guys. They were doing what I wanted to do. I'm sorry I'm going off on a tangent, but I am
No.
super passionate about this business. This business has taken me through ups and downs and dark times and good times. Um, Personally, just seeing wrestling's always there, and it's always going to be there. So the fact that it's more out there than anything right now, it's the best time to be in this business, and I love it. I love it. I live it, and I love it.
You can definitely tell, not only within the time frame we've been speaking, but as I've stated right from the very first minute when we recorded, just the way you present yourself right out the curtain, you can tell. And you can tell when other guys and girls don't have that readiness, that passion, that obsession, if you
You
will.
have to. If you don't have passion for what you're doing and what you love, then you're never gonna quote unquote make it, or you're never gonna, you got to put 110% in. And I never really understood what that meant. I played sports my whole life, but really, like, there's nothing like this. This is something I watched as a kid on TV, and the fact that I'm doing it, just I remember the last day of graduating flatbacks and driving home, and I talked to my roommate, and I was looking at him like, we did it. Like, I this isn't just a couple months journey for me. Like I told you, it's been a 3-year journey, ups and downs of things that, just starting off, and then not feeling where I was supposed to be. And then COVID happens, and I never was sure of it. So now that it's back and in full swing and I'm in it, I am looking to make moves. I'm looking to work everywhere. I have a ton of, and I have the privilege of having, some bookings coming up that I thought, it might be a little hard to, start out and break in, because there is so much good talent out there. But like I said, I'm the guy. And as humble as I can be, as professional as I want to present myself, I don't want to be just another wrestler. I want to be the best. I want to be someone that everyone comes to see. And the way to do that is to work all these different promotions and Absolutely. Get the exposure on the IWTVs, the Fight TVs, and all of that. Mm-hmm. Sorry that I talk so much, but it's
no, not at all. A couple things. I wanted to swing way back when I popped for good hand. That just really made me pop. I apologize for that. Okay. Also, they don't want to hear me talk. They hear enough of my chicanery at the shows and whatnot. That's why when we hit record, we want the talent to be open. We want the talent to be conversational. I've had interviews where I really expected what I've seen in the ring. I'm like, this dude's going to be a fantastic interview. I'll probably ask a question. This guy's going to go crazy. Where it was the very opposite, where I would give a question and the response was very short. And I'm like, oh shit, where do I go now? Like, there's been some of those. Having these conversations the way we do, Mr. Dalton, when you get the talent to just loosen up a little bit, open the doors, what we say here, pull back the curtain, and just give us some of that vibe. I mean, I know you're Jack Dalton. I know you're the guy. But you know what? You're pulling back the curtain just a smidge for us. It might not be all the way. You might not be bringing in all of the sunshine through that curtain, but you're giving us a little bit of that. And I absolutely love you for that. But that's what this is about, though. And again, this is not for me. This is not my show. It may have my ridiculous name attached to it, but this is for the fans. No, not today. No, you're right. Not today. But it's always been, why did I start this? Well, 2 reasons. To hear the stories of the talent and for the fans, because we don't get these kind of interactions when we're buying the T-shirts, when we're hanging out at the merch table for, a lousy 15 minutes for an intermission. But when we talk to the guy, we only got about maybe a minute, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, because there's other people that want to talk to the guy. So we don't get these kind of interactions. We don't get these kind of stories. And so for the talent, when they go on a lengthy response or a story instead of a response, I'm all about that, because we would never, ever hear this stuff at a merch table, my friend. So please never apologize because I can go too. We all know that. Excuse me. Now, I wanted to kind of go back to the product, because we've talked the older product where you go back and, some of the Bret Hart stuff is your favorite. The FTR, looking back at the Southern stuff. Let's talk about the product now, because I always like to ask this question. I know it's probably a repetitive question, but it's always different and different for different reasons. You've talked about AEW a few times already. So I'm assuming, and you've already also talked about being having your finger on the pulse a bit. Do you watch the current product? Which ones do you watch, and why are you because some just do not watch the current product for their own reasons, but there are also that do watch the current product for other reasons. Where are you at on this?
So one thing that I was taught which I was already doing this, but at Flatbacks, someone asked, "What should we be watching?" Right? You have two guys. You have one that's had just recently left WWE, and then one that was in WWE and transitioned over to AEW. So what should we watch? Their response was all I needed to know. Watch everything. Right? You're doing yourself a discredit by saying, "Oh, that's not really for me. I'm not going to watch that." Right? Especially if you're in this business. It's different if you're a fan. You can watch whatever you want. I'm never going to tell someone what to watch, right? Unless I'm there. If I'm there, you better watch it. But he said watch everything, and that's what I do. So whether I agree with what's going on at a certain company or what's on the TV, I watch it all. I watch WWE. I watch Impact. I watch a ton of indies. I try to get to indie shows even before I was in the business. I would go to as many indie shows as I possibly could, and just see what was out there and really be like, I can do that. I watch obviously AEW since day one. I watched AEW because of so much as I want to be a wrestler, there was a point in time where life was just too busy and I wasn't watching as much. I was almost like a casual fan. I'd say it was when I first started like college. For the time that I went, I really just was so busy. I really had no time besides work and that. I wasn't watching a ton of wrestling. But what got me back into it was finding, believe it or not, the Being the Elite on YouTube and finding out who the Bucks and Kenny and Hangman and Cody were. It's a big part of it. Was I heard that Cody Rhodes left WWE and I was like, what? Cody Rhodes left? So I wanted to see what he was doing, and I found him. He came to a Northeast Wrestling show, which is, by the way, that is where I need to be. Sooner rather than later, hopefully you'll see me there. So I got to meet him at a Northeast Wrestling show, and I talked to him for, he took time with me, and it was a 5-10 minute conversation, and I said I want to be a pro wrestler, and it was the night he fought Kurt Angle in the cage match where he did the moonsault off the top.
I was front row.
I was too. So I
Yeah.
So
wow.
I got to talk to him. Told him I want to be a pro wrestler. He told me to go get trained by someone who's been to the dance. I think was his exact words. Get trained by someone who's done something, who's really made it in this business. And I believe that was maybe 2017 or 2018. And like I said, it's never going to be the perfect time. You just got to do it. And I was in that mentality of waiting. Just letting life get in the way. And then eventually I decided to start training. Didn't know COVID was going to happen, but just watching the independents. Back to your question, I watch everything. I like to see what I like and what I don't. I don't discriminate against any certain company or not, because like I said, pro wrestling's for everyone and anyone. Like, you hear a lot of criticism of WWE, I feel like, a lot lately, is you hear all this criticism that it's PG, it's for these kids. It's like, yeah, I was a kid watching it. It is for kids. It's for everyone. There's something on that show for everybody. And the same thing with AEW. I feel like one is more sports entertainment, one is more pro wrestling. But if you are truly a fan of this business like I am, and truly a student of the game, you watch it all. And I see a lot of stuff in WWE that I like, and I see a lot of stuff in AEW that I like. A lot of the New Japan stuff, I like that hard-hitting action. I don't know so much that I want to get hit that hard. The impacts of the world, I feel like someone, my immediate goals, is I said it before, is long-term, but not so long-term, I want to be signed to a major company. And I believe there's a lot of them out there that are viable now, especially with Tony purchasing Ring of Honor, and saving that brand. There's so much, and there's so much wrestling for everyone. So to answer your question, I watch everything, and I'm a fan of it all. There's certain things that you like and certain things that you don't. I find myself watching a lot of the older stuff. My first wrestling memory was my brother was flipping through the channels, and it was a 2001 SmackDown, I believe, and it was The Rock in the ring with Trish Stratus, Vince, and he calls out Rikishi, and it was the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club. And I just remember Trish. You know, I was like 3 years old. And I don't remember watching wrestling after that until like it was like one of my first memories in general. Like not just wrestling. I was like one of my first memories I can remember at the earliest time. And then 2006 rolls around, and I've been an active fan since then. So my favorite feud of all time is Edge versus Cena. I think that those two are such a good foil for each other, and I take a lot of inspiration from Edge. Like I hated him as a kid, but now just going back and watching that and seeing the work that he did and how much he contributed to the business at that point in time, and he really showed like, if you don't think I'm a star, watch. I'm going to show you how much of a star I am, and he made himself into a star. He went from someone in the mid card to being a world champion main event talent who main evented WrestleMania. So I watch it all because I want to work everywhere. Somewhere like Impact, I feel they need a top guy. They need a guy. They need a star, and I would love to work there. I would love, you know, that's a company that you cannot kill. You cannot. They won't die. You know how many times people count them out, and it's like, you know, I watch everything. So they really do put on some of the best pro wrestling in the world. I feel like sometimes they just don't get the credit for it. But I'm definitely a weekly watcher of all the products. Nice. I try to stay up when the big New Japan shows are on, or at least catch them afterward. I've gone to a ton of shows. When I first decided to be a wrestler, I had this mentality in my head, like, oh, I'm not going to go to shows anymore because that's what fans do, and I'm a wrestler now, or I want to be a wrestler. And that was stupid in my head because it lasted about a month, and then I went to a show and I was like, oh, this is why. It's like I go and watch it live so I can study, so I can see and get that feeling of wow, this is where I want to be. I feel like you can't truly visualize yourself in a situation and where you want to be until you actually see it in person, and you see that pop, and you see the guys come out. This past Saturday at Ring of Honor, I watched FTR come out and seeing the reaction that they got, and I'm like, I need that. That's going to be me. I want that to be me. And I visually saw it in my head. And the only way to do that is to be around it and experience it. You need to, like I said before, be engulfed in this business. You need to have it as a sickness. If you want to make it, you have to watch it all. You know, you have to be consumed by it. And a lot of stuff in your life is going to take a back seat. But this is what I want to do. I want to make my living doing something that I've loved my whole life. I don't want to work a normal job. I don't want to be a normal person. I want to be a star. That's what I want.
No, I'm not laughing at that. I'm thinking of it as a title. I don't want to be a normal person.
Normal. I mean, normal for anybody, but it's like, and I don't mean like, just going 9-to-5 job or whatever. That's fine. Like I'm saying, when I say a normal person, I mean someone who doesn't have passion for something, right? I feel but in general, like I know you're a musician, you're a wrestling fan, and those are two things that you're passionate about. They fuel you. They keep you going. You know, when you're having a bad day, you have those two things.
That's it, baby. That's absolutely spot on. We've been running 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 44 seconds. And I know we've taken up a lot of the guys' time. Now, unfortunately, I have like 3 more questions. Is there any way I can squeeze those in?
Go ahead. I'm just going to listen and then answer them for once.
Oh, okay.
I got you.
Well, they're very not associated, so we're definitely going to take them as they go one by one. Okay. I'm going to go back because I love to hear the origins or the beginnings of, and I always and will forever use Kane. When he first started out, he was the Christmas creature, and he looked like a complete fucking Christmas tree. Literally, he looked like a Christmas tree, and it was god awful. I don't know whoever did that to the poor guy, but that seemed to be, as far as I know, one of his very first gimmicks. You were speaking earlier, you weren't happy where you were. Was there a gimmick that was already established with you that you wanted to run with that just wasn't filtering in your vibe and your soul, and you're like, okay, F this, that's getting scrapped, and now I'm going to Florida because this is what's going on now?
No, so I have always had this in my head
Moneymaker.
of what I wanted
Okay.
to present myself as. You know, when I decided I wanted to be a wrestler, I've always had that in my head. It was more or less COVID happening, and I just wanted a fresh start, and I did what I had to do, and I feel like everyone has a path, and this was mine, and I don't regret it, and it's working out for me beyond my expectations, and I hope it just keeps going. But it's not going to keep going unless I keep grinding.
Exactly. Without you pushing yourself, it just comes to a halt. Because, as they say, you could be in wrestling one week, you could be in the fans' eyes and everybody being ooh ah, look at Jack Dalton, the guy. But if you're not being active on the socials, you're not being a smidge interactive, even on the so I love that about the talents. Being interactive on the socials, I think, is a very vital thing. And I know there's a shitload, and I do mean a shitload of negative out there. But the interactions that I see Jack Dalton doing on Facebook specifically, it's always banter with us, or it's sharing the media and it's talking about the media or the show. It's never the dumb shit that's going on mostly. And I'm not saying Facebook is the place to be, but I see so much of it on Twitter. It's just it's too much for me that I can't circulate and discuss and interact with the talents that I know on Twitter. It's just too much. With Facebook,
If
it's so much different.
if I wasn't where I am and in the business that I'm in, I probably wouldn't have social media. But it is as much of a positive tool. It can also be a very negative tool. It depends on the person who
Mhm.
is in control of it. But when it comes to, I love it because you're able to put yourself out there and stay in the public's eye. Or stay in their mind, in the forefront of their mind, and promote. You know, because how many dudes get booked on a show and then they just show up. You know, you have to promote. You have to, one, promote yourself, and then two, promote the show. Right?
Mhm.
You are a walking billboard. I'm in a sales background when it comes to normal, quote unquote, non-wrestling life, and you're constantly selling yourself to
Mhm.
promoters, to fans, to your opponent, to everywhere, to social media, because obviously a lot of people put the best versions of themselves out there, but in this business I think that's probably a good thing. You need to show that you're more than just another wrestler. You're more than just another guy. You have to promote, and you got to sell yourself to everyone constantly, because there is constantly new and upcoming talent, and that are either want to take your spot. So I'm using all these wrestling terms, but it's you got to stay relevant, and the only way to do that is to pay attention to the people that came before you, who are constantly doing that. Someone like Chris Jericho, who constantly reinvents himself and stays relevant no matter what the time, and that's just talking to people and talking to either people younger than you, and staying on the pulse of things, or just continue to evolve and put yourself out there in a positive light, and just try to stay away from the negativity. I think that's the biggest thing, is stay away from the negativity. If you have negative people in your life, cut them out. If you have negative forces in your life, do your best to get rid of them. And especially on social media, ignore that negativity. You need to take a break, delete it off your phone. I do it all the time. But yeah, just that's that's really my point. Like I said, I talk too much.
No, no, you do not, sir. That's the passion of. Believe me, when you say all I do is talk about wrestling, I am so the opposite of what you see at the shows when I'm at home. Very chill, very laid back after work. I don't really talk a whole lot. If anybody mentions the word wrestling or how was wrestling or whatever wrestling, you can't shut me up. So I don't ever apologize. Um, with what you just said about the negativity and the positivity and all of that stuff, I'm going to lead with a last question, or I'm going to end with a last question. And that is, I always talk about support system on this show. And I think this is a perfect way to end with Jack Dalton, because who've I seen attend personally at the shows? For one, the guy Jack Dalton, and that being, if I'm not mistaken, and tell me if I'm not wrong, if I am wrong, is your parents. They have come to the, not just one, but a couple of the shows so far that I've been to and seen you personally. Tell us, the fans, because of things like, F this, I'm moving to Florida and changing everything about what I want to do with my life right now and my career of wanting to become a professional wrestler. What comes along with that, Mr. Dalton, are these sacrifices day in and day out, month in and month out, for yourself, your family. There's things that are missed. There's things that aren't done. There's things that you should have done or could have done that you might have looked back and said, you know what, I should have probably done. You know what? No, I got wrestling as a focus. So there's these sacrifices in your life that you do and make to become said professional wrestler. But talk to us, to us, the fans, what it means to see, to see your lovely parents, and man, your mother is a gem and a half. To see your family, especially being your parents there in house, right there at your events. That's just got to be so cool.
So I can't thank them enough. I mean, I think it's very important for everyone to have some sort of support system. I know not everyone is as fortunate as me to have both parents here, and together. That's just how things roll. But um, definitely to have any support system at all. If you can find a friend that believes in you, or a girlfriend, a boyfriend, uh, a family member, an uncle, an aunt, anyone that believes in you as much as you believe in yourself. If you can find that, it is such a help. It is such like an irreplaceable thing. So I have my parents that come to every single show that I've had so far. I've had family pack the house at the Blood, Sweat, and Tears show. And I've had friends buy tickets. I had friends, even if they couldn't come, they bought tickets. And a lot of that's just people, surrounding yourself with people who care about you. So not even the guy who has all the friends is usually not, they don't really like him too much. But if you can find a close circle of people that support you, that's really all you need is just a few friends and some family that are there no matter what. So to have them at every show, and have one of my best friends, his name's John. He owns Empire Tattoo in Orange. He's a fantastic tattoo artist. He did that on me. He has been such an instrumental part of me doing this. We used to work together, just became close friends, and he's come to some shows. He let me film my most recent promo in his shop for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. After tattooing all day, sat there and made sure we were good to film it and stuff. And having him, having my parents, my brother, my sister, everyone has always been supportive of what I want to do. I've always said to them that I don't want to just, work a job that I hate. I want to do what I'm passionate about. My brother's a musician too, and they support him in what he does. You have to find people that support you, because if you don't have that, it is a lot harder in life, and in especially this business, to make it, or to make something of yourself without a support system. And you have that. When I told him I was moving to Florida, my mom cried, but she's an emotional person, but she's always been supportive of me. I played sports my whole life, and she was always at every single game. My number one fan, screaming her head off. And my dad has always been there recording and been there for me.
What type of sport? You never spoke on that.
So I have a football background. That's my main sport. But I play baseball as well. I had an opportunity to play like at the collegiate level for football. But at that time, it beats your body up. Like wrestling beats your body up. But football really beat my body up. And I for the position that I was, I played defensive end. And I was a pulling guard on offense, which you're basically just taking out people and just cracking them, so that the running back run by you. It takes a lot on your body. And I knew that this was what I actually wanted to do. And I didn't want to continue playing football I wasn't ever going to go to the NFL. You know, I'm realistic in my goals, but I knew if I did pro wrestling, I know that I can make it to the highest level. And I so stop playing that. But they were always supportive of me. I like baseball a lot better because it's less taxing on your body. But yeah, baseball, football background, which definitely helped footwork wise at wrestling, and a lot of training and discipline and stuff like that. If I never played football, I credit that with a lot of my discipline and my athletic background, because I wouldn't say I'm the most athletic person, but it definitely made me more athletic, or brought it out of me to where I can transition it over into wrestling, and that intensity that I feel when I'm in the ring, it's an outlet. And yeah. But back to my support system, can't thank them enough. Find yourself a small circle. The smaller your circle, it's probably the better of people who support you, because I have that, and without that, I don't know where I'd be.
I did not mean to sneak in that sports question and have it be a subtext of the support system, but we did not speak on that.
Yeah, they go hand in hand, because they were at all of those events.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just a continual support system through what your endeavors were. Love all of that, sir. With seeing your parents at I believe it was Blood, Sweat, Tears Cataclysm was the very first time where I seen you. That was your first BST, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Was Cataclysm?
What? Yep.
Seeing them, and then they saw they saw some of the chicanery I was doing at the shows. We had a lot of fun just hanging out. So great people to meet. Loved seeing that they were supporting one Jack Dalton, their son. That hits me right in my heart, my friend, because of the interviews I do with the talent, and know what it takes in the long run to be a professional wrestler. And without that support system, as you said, it's so much harder, especially in this in your business. Not in this business. I'm not in wrestling, so
I
I've
would
never.
I would say you're in the business. You take care of a lot of the guys, and myself and a lot of them appreciate what you do. You know, just getting footage in general, but that you're interactive, and you're someone that when we walk out the curtain, we can see that we know that we can you're in on it. You know, and thank you for what you do. You're definitely in the business. At least I don't know if I'm in a position to say that, but I think I am, and I would say you're definitely part of the business.
Oh, I wholeheartedly thank you, Mr. Dalton. What a fine way to bring this to an end. There was a little love at the beginning from myself to Mr. Dalton, and look at this, boys and girls. It's gonna make me cry. It reversed.
Just don't piss me off.
Okay. I've been chased plenty. I don't want to get chased by Mr. Dalton. You've seen it firsthand.
Before I plug a few of the stuff I have coming up.
Yeah. That's what we do. We want the links of all your socials, even if it's your Pornhub, multi-tool Dalton. Give us all, whatever. Give us all of the deets on your links. Promote. This is your platform now. For whatever length we end with, this is your platform, because this is a guy show. Give us all the promos. Give us all the deets. We want the people to find the guy Jack Dalton.
All right. So if you find me on Facebook, I may or may not accept your request. But it's my Twitter is at the guy show _ and then my Instagram is at the guy Jack Dalton. I wish I could do both, but Twitter, I'm one character short to make them the same, but you know who I am. I have some shows coming up. Let me just look at my notes here.
Yes, please do. Just having notes, my friend. Applause.
This my mind's all over the place, so I definitely need them. This Saturday, obviously, Coliseum Pro Wrestling. Show starts at 7. You're going to see me and Zachariah Gibbs take on the Battle Academy, and we are going to walk out as the first ever CW Tag Team Champions. So be there. Tickets are on eventbrite.com. I have the links in my story on Instagram, pretty much posted every day until the show. August 7th is Tesla Strength Training Day. Don't know if I'm wrestling, don't know if I'm on the show, but I'll definitely be there to help out and show face. I
I'll be
definitely
there. Yeah.
I'll see you there. That's definitely a promotion that I very soon want to wrestle for. Everyone who has is in charge, Alex, GM, Slick Wagner Brown, Honest Abe, they've all been great to me starting off in this business, and I definitely want to help them out in any form, whether that's wrestling, cutting a promo, just helping set up the ring, anything I can do. I will always help out Tesla Strength. But August 7th, you may or may not see me, but definitely come to that show in general because there's a ton of great talent on that show. August 13th, I'm debuting for the first ever show of Tetsu Pro. It's on the North Haven, Connecticut Green. I'm facing Troy Stevens, someone I've always wanted to get into the ring with, that local standout for years and years and years. Someone I met a long time ago as well. And then August 14th, you can catch me at my mainstay right now is Shut Up and Wrestle. Shut Up and Wrestle 24. I'm the guy there. I'm the guy everywhere. So come out and see me there. It's in Holyoke, Massachusetts. August 19th, Coliseum Pro, Clash at the Coliseum. I will also be on that show. Don't know what I'm doing yet, but I can promise you it's going to be the guy show. And then August 20th, I am in a triple threat, a three-way dance with someone I've already been in the ring with, Money Mark Alexander and Steve Garcia. For the first time, I'll be stepping in the ring with him. Yes. And I have a promo out right now telling you exactly who the hell I am and why I'm going to walk out of that match and that show, showing every single one of you that this is my world and you're just living in it. Wow. And then finally, I have September 10th, Tough and Talented, 2TW. It's the all-out 8-man war. I plan on walking out the winner there as well. Two guys that I've wanted to step in the ring with for a very long time are in that match, being Lucas Chase and Mike Skyros. I have a lot of the other talent in that match I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet or being in the ring with. But I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And
that'll be a 1-year anniversary for TNT, by the way.
I cannot wait for that show. Their promoter, Vinny, has been great to me as well, starting off in this business. And then that's really what I have rounding out the summer. Anyone listening to this, I'm looking to fill dates. I'm looking to work as much as possible. You can hit me up on my socials, and I'm also gonna hit you up. So if you want the guy, call me.
Man, boys and girls, this is one of these shows where this is a talent I've only seen a few times, less than a handful probably. Did not know jack about him. Didn't know. I didn't mean nothing about it. Didn't know anything about him, and we sat here and we talked wrestling. We talked the guy show for an hour and 53 minutes. But boys and girls, it just flowed so easily, and the conversation was amazing, and we got so much information. And if not anything, we learned a whole hell of a lot about the guy show and the guy, Jack Dalton. And my goodness, keep your eyes out. Promoters, look him up. Like he said, hit him up. He'll be hitting up other promoters, because that's the stance between besides the fans and the wrestlers. Unfortunately, you've got that the dance between bookers / promoters and the wrestlers, and that's always not an easy task. So again, that's one of those things I applaud you by getting your name out there, because it's not the easiest thing to do. Mr. Jack Dalton, thank you so much for spending nearly 2 hours with us, the fans. I cannot thank you enough, my friend.
Thank you. One last shout out. Another at Blood, Sweat, and Tears. The promoter of Blood, Sweat, and Tears has also been great to me in my starting out of my career. Everyone I've dealt with so far has been awesome. So thank you. And thank you, Don, for all you do. Thank you for helping me out and giving me another platform to get my name out there and show what I can do when it comes to talking on the stick, because I truly believe at this level, not a lot of people can can hold the candle to what I can do when it comes to talking trash. So here we go. Welcome to the Guy Show.
The title of the show I wanted originally to be Welcome to the Guy Show. But then it was turned up to 11. So now I'm very indecisive. Then I said a third one. But I want to revert back, always turned up to 11. But, I mean, Welcome to the Guy Show. It just says it all. I mean, I don't know what to do. I'm so torn. But before I do let you go, what the hell did I want to ask you? Son of a biscuit. There was something very, very, very specific that I wanted to ask you, and I can't remember. It's the Guy Show. It's not stirring the pot, so it doesn't matter. Again, a fabulous 2 hours, and man, fantastic conversation with the guy, Jack Dalton. This is the Guy Show with the guy, Jack Dalton. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.